Hello, my name is Jordan Goodpaster, and for my independent study, I have chosen the topic of Coptic Christians of Egypt. So I'm going to be telling you about some of the things I learned about them. The Coptic Christian people of Egypt are currently the largest ethno-religious minority in Egypt. There are multiple denominations which stem from this cultural group, the two largest being the Coptic Orthodox Church and the Coptic Catholic Church. There are currently 99.5 million residents in Egypt. 15 to 18 million consider themselves Coptic Christians. Egypt is a Middle Eastern country across the top right portion of the African continent. The Nile River has been, and continues to be, a major benefit to Egyptian culture by providing transportation and soil fertility for agricultural purposes. The southern part of the country is sparsely populated desert lands. The term Coptic or Copts was originally used to define native Egyptians. Following the Muslim conquest, this shifted to a term only used towards Coptic Christians. Egyptian Christianity originated in Alexandria in approximately 42 AD, spread throughout the country by Saint Mark. New Testament scriptures found in Banaza, dated around 200 AD, confirmed Coptic Christians present in ancient Egypt. There are many references within the Bible which further confirms this. The decline of Christianity began in 600 CE due to the rapid rise of Islam spread throughout the Middle East. The rise of the Pan-Arabism under Nasser in the early 1950s led to an even greater shift in the prevalence and acceptance of Copts in Egypt. Prior to his reign, Egyptians of all religions identified as Egyptians rather than Arab. Copts did not feel the need to specify or hide their religious beliefs. Coptic Christianity is rooted so deeply within the Egyptian culture that it has accommodated to the many different Middle Eastern cultures and traditions. While there is an admiration and respect shown toward this religious community, the presence of the Muslim Brotherhood and Pan-Arabism has caused animosity and discrimination towards Copts. Copts are known for practicing the 7 sacraments common amongst many Christian denominations: baptism, confirmation, communion, confession, matrimony, anointing of the sick, and ordination. Following these traditional practices sanctifies their devotion to the Coptic community. Christian monasticism is the devotional practice of individuals who were typically ascetic and lived separated from others in the desert. Coptic Christians, who were considered monastic, lived in the desert, separated from people and temptations, to ensure they remained devoted to the faith. This is one of the many facets of Coptic culture which has shaped modern Christianity. Copts are often referred to and treated as a separate nation when there is no ethnic basis for this assumption. Most ancestors of modern Egyptian Copts were considered Coptic at one time. Through the rise of Islam in the Middle East, many Copts have acquired and adapted to Islamic customs and traditions. Egyptian Muslims have also retained some Coptic customs and beliefs. One major similarity between these ethno-religious groups is the shared belief of national loyalty. Despite religious tensions within the past century, the everyday relations of Egyptian people is generally harmonious. Most Egyptian people have friends of the opposite religious persuasion. There is a slight difference in public perception. Urban Copts are perceived by others as secretive and devious due to heavier prevalence of Islamic and Muslim traditions, more commonly practiced in the Middle East. What others may identify as being secretive is the urban Coptic community's way of keeping peace between all the ethno-religious groups in Egypt. Rural Copts, on the other hand, often perform more traditional Coptic rituals due to less scrutiny and influence from these other ethno-religious groups. Desert theology and monastic Copts are more prevalent in these sectors. While there is no formal caste system, a noticeable gap between the lower class and the affluent can be seen. These differences are most noticeable with the source of income, housing, language, transportation, fashion, and education. However, with the growth of the middle class over recent years, the gap between these socioeconomic statuses is becoming less noticeable, as with many developing countries. Following the rule of Nasser in 1952, Copts were increasingly marginalized for their hesitancy for Arab confirmation. Animosity stemming from religious views has always been prevalent in the Middle East. Egyptian nationalism is a paramount form of identity to Copts and Muslims, and the pressure of Arab confirmation creates tension. Copts are shown much more discrimination than most, yet they are one of the most peaceful communities. When Alexander the Great conquered Egypt in 332 BCE, Greek was deemed the country's official language. Over time, the Greeks transcribed Egyptian hieroglyphics using the Greek alphabet, which led to written Coptic. Although the spoken Coptic dialect died well before the 18th century, it is still recited in liturgy and Coptic Bible translations. There are public health care networks found in all major cities, and basic medical services are in less developed villages. Unique to Middle Eastern culture, urban affluent sectors will often seek natural alternative treatments. Egyptians tend to combine modern health services with traditional medicine. While Coptic Christianity originated in Egypt, because it has been around for approximately 19 centuries, denominations in other countries have risen over the years. Copts can be found in North America, Europe, and select countries in Asia. Despite their distance from one another, they all uphold the same religious traditions. A unique aspect of Egyptian culture, not specific to Coptic Christians, is their cultural perspectives of invitations. It is customary within Egyptian culture to refuse an initial invitation. A second invitation shows the offer stems from the heart, rather politeness. For example, if a person is invited into another's home, they will often decline the invitation. This is then usually reciprocated by an offer to attend a meal at a later date. Family integrity is taken very seriously in Egyptian culture, no matter a person's religious denomination. As with many other traditional Middle Eastern countries, the head of the household is given most responsibilities. Family values and relations are taken seriously. One difference between traditional Western Christianity is that divorce is well nigh impossible. Marriage to Muslims is considered unthinkable, and Islamic conversations are extremely rare.